Okay, looks like this is live. So, what's going on, people? I don't really do a lot of lives, right? I do my monthly one for like the sneaker, what is it? The sneaker release recap thing. I mean, that's like the scheduled one. And then there's like the one off times or whatever, where I'll sit here and do something like this. Usually, when I do the ones like this, it's because I spent the first however much of the day recording and editing and all that stuff. And then I kill off some time later that night doing this, which is what happened today. So I put up, well, I recorded 4 videos this morning. I've edited like 3 of those. So I'll be getting those out over the next couple days. And then after this, I'll go edit the last one. It's, I was in a pretty good work zone or whatever. So I was able to fire off a whole bunch of stuff. It was pretty good, pretty productive today. So that's cool. But yeah, I don't do a whole lot of these usually because when it comes to like the live situation, that's more of like a community sort of channel thing, right? And this is not one of those. It's more of like I do the reviews, people watch the reviews, and maybe we talk about it. And then there's Homegrown Kicks. What's going on to him? And then Derek says I was the worst state ever. So obviously Derek once again is showing off that terrible, terrible Tennessee education. Can't even spell Tennessee. So that sucks to be him. But hey, it is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and be a negative Nancy and look down on him for his inferiorness. Hopefully he finds some way to make himself better. There's a lot of room to get better, so he's got that going for him. Otherwise, though, if he doesn't, things are not gonna be good. Not at all. Hey, Chilltown, Chip, what's going on, people? Oh, I was gonna put in this link in the chat in case anybody wants to jump in or whatever in the midst of my ramblings and such, if it even goes through. Because sometimes it doesn't let me paste links in here for some reason. Oh, there it is. But yeah, so normally I don't really do a whole lot of the live things because I just don't see much of a reason to. I'd like to sit here and talk more with like my friends, and some of them are just followers because there is a difference. Let's be honest. It's just not a thing that seems to come up a lot. That, and also, I generally feel like I don't have anything worth saying that's worth hearing. So it's kind of like a two-sided thing. But I did say a while ago that I was going to start doing more of them, and as a man of my word, here I am. So that being said, what's on you guys' mind? I mean, I can sit here and do this one-sided all night. I've got no problem doing that. But I like to have people around to kind of keep the conversation going. But until somebody decides to jump in and say something, I'll take it from here. So the other day, I watched the He-Man Revelations thing, right? It's 5 episodes, about half an hour for each one. So it comes out to being about an hour and a half altogether. And it was pretty good. I'd heard some bad things. I heard a lot of bad things. Well, let me rephrase that. I heard from one person that they heard all bad things. And I did briefly see some bad things in like a little Google News feed thing, but I don't click on stuff like that most of the time. Anyways, I watched it with an open mind because, that's how I am. And it ended up being pretty decent. It's not a whole lot like what you might expect from like the first He-Man shows back in like the 80s. But I feel like that didn't age well, so that's probably a good thing. Let's see. I'm both. I cannot jump in now, or I would. That's probably because you're all like crying and stuff for me being mean to you. I'd apologize, but it came from the heart, so that means I meant it. Anyways, so you got that going on, right? It's a little different from the older stuff, but it should be because it's been like a million years since then. And it'd just be crazy not to. Got to improve over time. So you watch it, it does kind of take the emphasis off of He-Man just a little bit. I'm not going to get too deep into it so I don't spoil anything. But it kind of focuses on some other stuff for a while. But then it brings it all back, right? So now it's like, okay, so what's going to happen with season 2 or maybe just the rest of season 1? Because for it to only be 5 episodes, that's not a lot. But I don't know what their production cycle is like or anything like that. So we'll see. But otherwise, it's definitely something I would suggest. Now Homegrown Kicks is here for a reason. So there's that for you, which is a thing I often say.
Terrible influence is here.
What'd you say?
I said the terrible influence is here.
No, he's right there. He said he's not jumping in. Yeah, see him quick with it. But yeah, so there's that. There's a bunch of other stuff floating around on the internet that I would like to watch. What did I watch today? I watched the first episode of What If, the Marvel thing where they talk about what if instead of Captain America being the dude, it was the lady. And that was there were a lot of plot holes in it, but maybe I was looking too closely into it. So there is that.
I feel the way about WandaVision. I'm not a fan of WandaVision. I went into it with an open mind, and it doesn't fill any real holes for me, maybe because I've only made it through so many episodes, but I just can't stomach the rest of it.
No, WandaVision, you got to get to like episode 4 or 5 for it to start kind of looking like something. And then it's like I'm going off of if there's like 7 episodes, so my numbers might be off. But then when you see like 6 and 7, you're like, oh, now I want to see where this is going from here. So you got to watch a lot of it, and then just power through that. And then the payoff is at the end. So that way you're not like too lost when it comes to, I think what's that Doctor Strange movie going to be? The something Master Universe or Mystery Verse or something, multiverse of something or other, whatever that's going to be, that is going to help you kind of ease into that. Otherwise, watch it and it'll be like as if you watched part 1 of something and then part 5 of something and it just jumped ahead like a million years.
Yeah, I've kind of fallen off the whole Marvel bandwagon. I don't know. It's terrible. They've taken too long to do things. I was really upset when they canceled the contract they had with Netflix, and yeah.
A friend of mine was also bothered by that, but that's because he worked for them.
Oh,
as far as me, like I still need to go back and rewatch some of not rewatch, but watch for the first time, like the last season of basically everything they had, because I don't think I finished Iron Fist. I know for a fact I didn't finish Daredevil. Luke Cage may not have had a second season to watch, and I'm not sure about Jessica Jones either.
Yeah, Jessica Jones, I think, had 2 or 3 seasons. Luke Cage had 2 seasons. Iron Fist had, I think, 2.5 seasons. I think they all had like a half a season where they did the kind of what do they call that when they bring them all together? Mashup.
Like crossover?
Yeah, crossover. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Let's see. What was that? Derek saying Punisher was the best of those. In some ways, even though Derek sucks, I would be inclined to agree.
Yeah.
But the reason being, like, I mean, I don't know what happened I don't remember how much of Daredevil I did watch.
Yeah.
But the first season, I had no complaints whatsoever. It was built up pretty good. The guy that they had playing the Kingpin was solid. So that's fine. Yeah. But the Punisher one, I feel like it was just done that well, It's not like there was like a huge, like, oh, well, number 1 was here, and then number 2 was way down here. They were all close.
Right.
It's just
I think Punisher was the easy way to go because Punisher was a rogue character, and people love action, they love killing, and they love explosions. So, that was the easier way to go. Daredevil needed a story. They did really well with the Daredevil story. Jessica Jones was somewhere in between those two. Iron Fist, it was all right. It was kind of lazy, but it was still all right.
See, like, I'm in the minority group where I feel like of the 4, I'd rank Jessica Jones as the 4th one. And I don't know where I'd put Iron Fist. Wait, is it 4? No, because it's Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Punisher. Okay. Yeah. And then Iron Fist. Yeah, okay. So either way, I'd put Jessica Jones at the end, right? Because I don't know, maybe it was just me. I just wasn't all that into it. And then watching like Iron Fist, though, a lot of people didn't like that one, but
I don't
I
know
was
why.
pretty into it. So
Yeah. I did enjoy it myself.
yeah, like
The
the bad guy from Jessica Jones was the best thing about it, or whatever,
yeah,
or maybe he
yeah.
was the best in general. But past that, it's like you can't always just have like the one character necessarily to hold the showdown. It works sometimes, you know. Look at John Cena.
David Tennant. He was the villain in Harry Potter, and he also played the 10th or the 11th Doctor from Doctor Who, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah, I don't watch that nerd stuff.
right, I was gonna say that's a nerd chapter. And then I think like the only other entertaining thing was about Jessica Jones was when she had a short-term relationship with Luke Cage, and they both matched up their strengths in a passionate manner. I would say.
Yeah, that was awkward in
Yeah,
some ways,
yeah,
and
yeah.
just more awkward in other ways. So yeah. And Derek says Iron Fist was too corny for me. So I mean, I don't know what a lot of people's complaints were because I don't really read up on people's opinions a whole lot because I don't value them if they're strangers. But he might be echoing what a lot of people said, possibly. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I honestly don't know, but the I can see where there were some parts that were a little cheesy in some ways or whatever. You know, because it was like in some ways just like the stereotypical thing.
Yeah.
Something about it just seemed to work for me, right? If I went back and watched it, would I feel the same? I don't know. I'm not going to because if I haven't made the time to watch the new stuff, I'm not making the time to rewatch old stuff. So that's how that works. But
I think the whole point of Iron Fist was to throw in some of that corniness because it was a kid that was stuck in the mountains until his adulthood with a bunch of monks. So, and he was relearning the world. Like he still thought that the first iPod was the budding point of technology. So, I mean,
well, I mean, let's not act like it wasn't now.
right.
I mean, for me, like that was a very revolutionary sort of thing. I remember getting one of my first iPods, which was the Nano, 4 gigs. I was able to put so much music on there, which is still, where is that? That's in my music room right now, sitting on the shelf. It's been kind of retired because, you know, no real reason to use that anymore. But I
Right.
can tell you this, the 4 gigs worth of music that's on there right now, I could still listen to any song on there and be very entertained by it. Because, you know, back then you had to be very, I don't know, very strict about what went on there because you didn't have a lot of space. You couldn't just dump stuff on there, right?
Right.
Nowadays.
I think the iPod Nano was the reason. Yeah, I don't think I know the iPod Nano was the reason why I stopped buying Apple products because I remember the iPod Nano and I still have mine, the Black Mini, and it's in the box, the original box it came in now, and it has the original charger and all that kind of crap. But anyhow, I bought it and I paid the $300 for it, and then 2 weeks later, Apple came out with the Nano with the camera on the back and a series of different colors, and I was extremely pissed. And it was
Oh,
cheaper, and it had more space than what mine did. And I said, okay, I see what kind of game we're playing, and that was the end of that.
yeah. Let's see. I bought mine in late 2005 because I remember it was not long after I had moved to Georgia, and I moved there in 2005, and I remember having it in the winter of that year. So somewhere in there is when I bought it.
Yep,
And
yep.
I was going strong with it for a long time. You know, I did have to go and I think I got it replaced at some point through like the Apple store up at the mall. One of those. I can't think of which one it was, but if I named it, you'd probably know it because you know Atlanta.
Probably Linux.
Yeah. So I got it replaced up there, whichever Apple store was closest, and went on with it again like for years because this it might have been like 06, 07 when that happened. And now here it is. The last time I used it was the beginning of last year. So it's lasted a good while. But I did end up replacing it with I got the 80 gig classic. Remember like the big body, right?
Yeah.
And then and then a couple years later, like 2012 or something, I bought like when they started making like the iPod touches and stuff, and those were pretty decent. Got one of those. And then I needed something a little more relevant. So earlier this year in April, I bought the most recent version of the iPod Touch. So I don't give Apple a lot of my money, but I'll give it to them for the music things because I'm a big music guy. And so that they just happen to do a pretty good job of, you know?
Jeez, who would have thought we would have gone from thinking that 4 gigs was the best storage possible in the world to our cell phones replacing all of that wholeheartedly.
I mean,
that's crazy.
I'm not sure, but I think this phone has 8 gigs of just RAM. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which is crazy. Hey, Robert Valentine, what's going on? But yeah, like, and the thing is, the formats haven't really changed. You know, I mean, MP3, AACs, those are still kind of at the forefront. The M4As are out there too, but mostly MP3s, right?
Right.
And now the quality of them is still pretty good. The compression rates are better, you know, more efficient and stuff, but you're still getting the same amount of music and the same amount of data or whatever. So that's cool.
Right.
You're just able to store more of it. And nowadays, it sucks though at the same time because they stopped making the classics, which I prefer, in favor of other stuff because they're kind of, you know, gearing towards the streaming thing.
Right.
I understand, but I'm still one of those people that buys a lot of CDs.
Yeah.
Or if it's digital only, I still buy those too. But I buy a lot of my music. So the streaming, even though I've got the services, I'd rather just have my own stuff put on there so that way I know I can get to it when I want to.
Exactly. I don't trust the cloud.
Right. I mean,
and then a lot of my old songs that I had on my Apple account, I checked back into my account, I think, a month or two ago after being absent from it for 3+ years, and all of my songs are gone. Nothing there.
Wonder what that's all about. Because, I mean, to me, it seems like if you bought something, music-wise, right? If you bought something, you should have it forever. I would just imagine that's how those agreements work, right?
Right.
I know, like, and you've probably seen this before on, like, the different video game systems. Like, recently, I noticed that Pac-Man Deluxe, like the DX Pac-Man, isn't on the PlayStation Store anymore. I bought it at one point, but I can't download it if I don't have it already downloaded because it's gone. And Rock Band doesn't do the same things when like licenses would run out, so they'd get rid of like the Red Hot Chili Peppers things. But when they get them all figured out, it'd still show up in your library again. But it's like if your system broke and you got a new one in that time period, you just didn't have that stuff.
That's crazy. And that's why I prefer discs over digital downloads.
Yeah, that's why I want a disc version of the PS5.
Yeah.
And also because, for one, if you don't want a game anymore because maybe it's old and you're done with it, you can sell it and get some money back. You can't sell a digital copy. It'd be nice if they made it so you could. And then also I have Blu-rays that I would still like to watch at some point. What's Derek saying about
that's pretty funny?
USB drive having 10 gigs and just thought it was impossible. Oh, yeah. That's another crazy thing, how small the storage can be. Because even like the micro SDs you can get in your phones are like, I want to say I've seen some 256s like years ago. They're probably up to like terabytes now.
Yeah, I think they got them up to like between 2 to 5 terabyte, probably larger than that. But
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's because at a certain point, it's like, okay, I don't need that much space, right? I'm not doing anything that serious. Now, I kind of feel like I should invest in something like that for the phone here, only because that's where I record all my
Right.
things or whatever, and doing that in 4K takes up a lot of space, right? But if you delete it when you're done, because I fall back on Dropbox to keep all my stuff together. So that way, if for some reason like all my videos got deleted, I just pull them on back out, minus the lives. But
Right. I remember
more like
years ago,
sneaker battles. But
these were our saving grace. This was like cutting edge technology, and you would see a ton of people with a ton of these attached to their keychains. And the biggest thing they used to remind you was make sure you eject it properly, or you'll have corrupted save files.
or yeah, because I mean, if it's writing in that moment, yeah, there is that piece of it. But I used to carry around, I want to say maybe two of those, like years ago at work, for different things because it's what made sense. So if I needed to fix some stuff or whatever, I had one for that. And then the other one, I think, forget what the other one was, but it had some other useful things on it. So that was me, a while ago. Didn't carry them on my keychain because I'm not really a keychain guy, but I would just keep them loose in my pocket.
Right,
Because
right.
if you reach in your pocket, like if they both feel different, you know which one you're about to pull out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, there's been a lot of advancements and things, and it's good, 'cause now like stuff in a lot of cases things are cheaper and better. Like I think maybe it was you. I was talking about like TVs with somebody, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
my current TV in the living room is a plasma from 2009, which still looks great. You know what I mean? But its features are non-existent. So
Right. Right.
so I'd like to get a newer TV, but there's no reason if this one works perfectly fine. I'm going to get the
Right.
$2,000 I spent out of it, which I guess I already did, but still. But
I
now,
just
like, go on.
really hope we don't go too far where we can't play VHSs anymore, because I've got a ton of VHSs, and yeah.
Well, I mean, I think you'll be able to do that as long as they make certain adapters or something. Because a friend of mine, he's really big into like the video game scene over in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's part of his job and just a personal interest or whatever. So like the last time I went to go see his band, he had like a little area set up with I forget what he had. I think it was like a Dreamcast and something else, or excuse me, a GameCube and something else, like all the older style systems and whatnot. And he always has to carry these older style TVs because that's the only way to make use of it. So it sucks, like, but it's fun. It's just like the logistics of it kind of sucks.
Right. Right.
Bobby Sneakerell says,
Bobby,
"Let the VHS go."
hell no.
I
Hell
don't.
no.
Nah, embarrassing what some of those VHS are worth some money now. I could see that. I mean, and in some cases, that was the only way you're going to get some of those things.
Right.
Because like certain movies that just kind of like the studios go away or whatever goes away, and so they're not making those anymore. So if you never return the movie to Blockbuster or something, well, there you go. Like you have it now. It was worth it to get that late charge, maybe. Or well, they probably didn't charge if you never took it back, right? Just delete your account after a while. And
Yeah.
Kurt Webb says Virginia Beach
Blockbusters went under. So
statement, I guess. Yeah, and that's another thing that I haven't watched yet. The Blockbuster documentary thing. People have said it's pretty good. I mean, no one's saying like it's an amazing, you got to go watch it right now sort of thing, but that it's well done. So sooner or later, I'll make that happen. I'll watch in my bedroom. I had to replace that TV last year, so that one's got like the 4K and all that stuff.
But interestingly enough, there is one last remaining Blockbuster still open. I forget where it is.
In your basement.
But
with all
no,
your
I think it's like
vlogging with Demetrius. Hello.
It's oh man, where is that last remaining Blockbuster? Because there's like a really huge article on it. Just like there's like one remaining Target with the retro interior from 1980.
Jeez. I have no idea because I didn't watch the thing. But if Derek is still in there, maybe Derek remembers like during our little overseas adventure, we saw a Target, not a Target, a Blockbuster that was it probably wasn't really being used anymore. But I just remember seeing it all the time, and I was thinking like, I feel like they forgot that this one exists, and that's why it's still open. Because it's just like out of sight, out of mind, you know. But
it's in Oregon.
That's so. I have never been to Oregon. What city over there? I know of Portland.
It's in Bend, Oregon. It's the city, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that place. But hey, DS Kicks, what's going on? Just sitting here talking about random stuff. Somehow we got on Blockbuster. But yeah, man, like it was cool though when it was like at its prime or whatever. Because I remember going in there and just seeing all the like the new movies and stuff. It's like, oh man, it's Double Team.
Right.
Dennis Rodman in it, you know? And then you want to watch it, you know?
Maybe rows and rows of VHS tapes.
Say that again?
The rows and rows of VHS tapes that you could sift through, and you just pull them out and stack them up on the counter like library books.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I still have some VHS somewhere because I know that's how I got my initial wrestling collection started. And I probably have a lot of recorded pay-per-views somewhere too. Man, like it would just be a matter of if my VCR actually works or not, having to dig that up.
Huh.
But I will say when I did get the VCR, it had like those, was it like the RCA inputs, like the yellow, red, and white? So I was able to use my PlayStation on those.
Yeah.
Because I didn't notice it at first. And then I saw it one day when I was flipping through the channels and it said like AV1. I'm like, I wonder what that is. Like, oh, maybe that's for this. Because I've been using that RF adapter. And then I plugged it into that and it was crazy. I remember playing Jet Moto. Was it Jet Moto? I think it was like WCW Nitro. Either way, I was playing something that showed some flames on it. And like before, I had always just seen like some red on the screen. But then I saw that. I was like, oh, that's an actual fire. Blew my mind, the graphics power of the PlayStation, you know? Man. Nowadays, like you just expect everything to amaze you, so it's not impressive when it does. It's expected when it does, you know?
Basically.
It's probably a small town with no internet, talking about like that Blockbuster. Yeah, I could very much see that. I mean, or it's just, I guess I'm curious if they can still go in it or whatever, but isn't the first Starbucks also in Oregon or something?
Maybe yeah, Washington. No, Seattle. I think the first Starbucks.
Yeah, it's somewhere over there. So I guess that's just one of those West Coast things, just to hold on to some stuff, you know. I don't think I've really seen anything that's too old around here. Like there was a Target or a Kmart building like not too far off the road or whatever, but they recently turned that into an Amazon distribution center or something, you know?
That's terrible. I don't know how many people still have. Well, yeah, I do. I think we've got like one Piggly Wiggly left.
Man, I haven't seen one of those since my Georgia days, I don't think.
Yeah, we've got one left. And then there's one that's at like the Georgia-Alabama borderline that I found in my travels back home from my birthday trip.
Actually, apparently, according to Google Maps, there is a Piggly Wiggly up in Newport News. So, that's interesting to know. Actually, that's like not very far from here because it's only in that part where it's technically Newport News. But man, I'm not gonna like go there, I don't think. But,
right.
You know, it's good to see that they're holding on, you know. And Curtis Webb says it's one in Norfolk. Really? I guess they're doing all right for themselves. What's the one in Norfolk near? I don't really go to a lot of places over there. Usually like the MacArthur Center area. You know, I'll go walk around by where like the Navy boat ships are or whatever. And my friends have shows there. I feel like I was just in Norfolk for a show not that long ago. I can't remember where it was. Where was it? Apparently, they also have a really good Target because Chick Foley keeps posting all the Scott Halls and not Bam Bams, Scott Halls and Macho Mans over there.
Oh my goodness. The place that has the best Targets is Florida. I think somebody told me that Florida was like,
oh, because of you. I was talking about Florida. That's fine.
Yeah, Florida. Like somebody told me Florida Target is the home. Well, Florida's the home base for Target or something like that, because they've got 1,000,000 Targets, they've got 1,000,000 WalMarts, and they've got 1,000,000 Dollar Trees. The most I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, like I know there's some that are hit and miss. I mean, it's I notice more so with Walmarts that there's like usually like the ones you should try, then there's the other ones that just get lucky every several months. But the Target's closest to me, or the Target closest to me is okay, but the one that I had to kind of go a little out of my way for, that one, it usually pays off. I mean, I was up there, I think it was yesterday I bought Ric Flair and Stone Cold because, I've been coming up empty-handed on a lot of my figure purchasing lately. So I kind of bought those just because they were there. But, I don't know, that Ric Flair might be worth having since it's probably his last figure for a bit.
I think each Target I went into down there, I went into about 4 Targets, and each one of them was a gold mine, as well as their Walmarts. Like here, the 2 closest Walmarts and Targets are horrible. And then even the 2 that are further out that I'm willing to go are shaky at best. So when I was down there, you best believe I spent a lot of money in figures.
He said something, and then I responded as if we were already like verbally speaking. But yeah, the Target in Town Center, that one is. Didn't I feel like I just bought a Sasha Banks from over there not too long ago. But go on, finish your thought.
Oh well, no, I spent a lot of money in Walmart and Target down in Florida on figures because it was such a gold mine. I was mind blown.
Yeah, I'll have to. I mean, I don't plan to be in Florida anytime soon, but next time I am, like usually whenever I am somewhere else, I do go stop by the stores. I think Derek and I stopped by Target. Well, we stopped by Target a lot when we went down for the AEW show, but it's because the Legend series had just started coming out. But when I'm like going to my parents' house or whatever, on my way down to South Carolina, like the halfway point is where I usually stop to like, get a little something to eat just to kind of break up the drive. I can make it the whole way, but that helps make it seem like it's not so terrible. And there's a Target near that little halfway point, and it's done pretty well for me a couple times, but again, I'm not trying to go all the way to the middle of North Carolina just to go to a Target. I'll go when I'm on my way. And he's like, yeah, way too many trips to Target. It was so close though. Like the first time I didn't realize how close it was because we drove there. Like, I was like, it took more effort to get into the parking area and park than it took time to actually get there, But that was a good trip though. Like if you haven't been to Charlotte ever or lately,
I've never been.
Worth checking out, Went out there,
never
we did
been
the AEW thing, and then I think the first night we were there, we hung out with McFly and got dinner at some place. So it's a pretty good time, Going to meet up with some people once in a while.
Right.
Now things are, well, a month ago, I would have said, yeah, things are starting to look pretty decent. There's stuff happening. And now it's like, there's still stuff happening, but it's not looking pretty decent. So it's kind of like a weird thing. And I only say that because like I saw like the SneakerCon people, they posted something and like, oh, SneakerCon, 3 cities you don't live in. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I did see other people were like, oh, man, like let's all go to city A or let's all go to city C. And me, I'm just like, you do one in DC, maybe we can talk. Because I'm not.
Right.
I mean, Atlanta is a possibility, I guess, but I think it was too soon for me to really plan to go. Because like if there's a big event, like who else did the same thing? Austin City Limits and Riot Fest did the same thing. They're like they just threw the tickets out there one day. It's like, yeah, come on down. It's in 2 months. It's like, I
Huh.
mean, that's a situation where I kind of need a little more of a heads up just because I need to arrange like, well, I need to have some time off from work for one, and then see if I, what the lineup is looking like. Then there's a financial piece of it because those things don't come cheap. Let's see. Now that I realize I'm an enabler. Yeah, Derek was trying to turn McFly into an alcoholic, man. It's crazy.
Oh wow. Oh, oh.
But yeah, so I don't know how things are going to be, but so far, the Norva still has all their shows scheduled. So I haven't seen anybody cancel anything yet. So hopefully all that stands strong because there's a couple good ones coming up. And then the amphitheaters, those are a little more open. So I think they're not going to be so strict. But the Norva, since it's all like one of those closed in venues, kind of like the Masquerade, up where you are.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
That, right?
Ooh, that's real tight. I went to a Wiz Khalifa concert, and regardless of the 2 floors, it's really tight in there.
Yeah, because it's the crazy thing to me was like when I lived in Georgia, I moved away in 2007, so it's been a while. And at that point, they were closing down their doors, shutting down their doors, or whatever, right?
Yep.
And then I went back in 2015 for a Motion City Soundtrack farewell tour, right? Yeah, and they were still closing down, and I'm like, and I still to this day, I still get their emails and stuff because different bands going and stuff. It's like, hey, come see us at the Masquerade. I'm like, that's
yeah,
because I know there was a time when it was like moving across the street or something. Because like it was like that old black rundown mansion looking building.
Yeah, with the wood floors and
oh man, those floors, like, because I would be up there in heaven because that's what they call the upstairs, and I remember being there for like different shows and people are jumping along with the music.
Yeah, and you could feel the floor flex.
It feels like a trampoline, but it's a wooded floor, man. It's like one day, every time I'm there, I'm like, this might be the day that this floor caves in, but but I'm thinking like maybe I'll get lucky and like I'll land on some other people and I won't get hurt. All right, I'll see you later, Derek. Thanks for stopping in. Definitely appreciate your time and all that good stuff. But yeah, it was crazy because I'm like, they probably should close this place, But at the same time, they were getting all kinds of good shows over there, Between 2005 and 2007, living down there and also taking a lot of trips to go visit friends in Orlando, I don't know that there was a tour that I missed, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody that came through played somewhere around there, It was a really good time, man.
Let me see. Is it still open?
I mean, Craig Owens is playing there. No, Chiodos is playing there. Or maybe it is Craig Owens. Either way, it's the same guy. But I don't remember if it's his solo tour or if it's his band tour, but they're going through there. And who else? Someone else I just saw their tour going down there. I think Armor for Sleep is supposed to be still doing their little reunion. I need to see what Sailson is doing because they were supposed to be getting back together, but well, to some extent. But yeah, it's probably they're probably having shows right now, like this weekend or something,
Yeah.
But I do kind of want to go back down there just to go because it's been a while and just for like nostalgia, I guess, because that's where I went to that was where I made my first like actual like road trip type of excursion to go to a show. It was the Cottonmouth Kings. Well, it was an Insane Clown Posse show, but the Cottonmouth Kings were there. Bone Thugs and Harmony was there, and either Mac 10 or Tech 9. I can't remember who. The Wicked Wonka tour. Yes, I went for that. And then when I moved down there, I was up there all the time, from Streetlight Manifesto to, who else? Armor for Sleep, saw them there. saw a bunch of things that I didn't really care to see. You know, a bunch of bands that just weren't all that good. You know, but it was cool. It was cool. And
Okay, it
then,
looks like they finally moved it. Let's see.
oh, did they?
No, nope, it's still. I don't know. You know, the internet pictures on Google are a little
Well, what's
confusing.
the address that they show for it now?
Uh,
Oh, I thought you still
it
had it open.
says Underground Atlanta, 50 Lower Alabama Street.
I don't. I feel like that's not the same
It used to
address.
be on North Avenue.
Yeah, that sounds right. But either way, man, like I remember going through there a lot and just the place was a mess, but it was like I guess it was like the equivalent of a hole in the wall bar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because it's you would see it and it will look like it's not much, but if you become a regular and you start to see what's going on in there, man, it was crazy. And then there were the other venues. Is the Tabernacle or the Roxy still around? Because I also used to see shows there too.
I think the Tabernacle has changed to a different name.
Um,
Um, because the Tabernacle, I think, was considered like the old folks venue, kind of like the Crow Nest.
the Tabernacle was the one that was a church, if I remember
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember I saw the Used there. I think that was my first time seeing a show at that venue, and I was just like, "Wait a second, what is this?"
Okay,
Because
well, apparently the
it was like
Tabernacle is still open.
what
Apparently,
what made it kind of okay was that it looked like it used to be a church, but I did in London see a show that was actually in a church, and that was weird. Because like it was a yellow card acoustic set, and I get in there, and they still got all the pews and stuff out there, and like they played like where like the choir and like the preacher guy or whatever would be, and I was like, this just feels weird. I mean, it was a good the the environment was perfect for like the for that type of set though. Like, so I couldn't argue with that. It was just like this is this isn't right. Something's wrong here, you know, because it's so different. But yeah, I think it was also the Tabernacle or the Roxy where I got my car towed for a whole bunch of money because I listened to like whichever one is like shares a parking lot with an IHOP, which could be both of them. But either way, like we get there and a friend of mine, he's like, "Oh yeah, I just parked over here," and I'm like, "I don't know, this sign says something about towing," and he's like, "Nah, I wouldn't worry about that." I'm like, "Oh." So of course we go to the show, which was 3 days grace, come out, and what's not there? Either of our cars. So
oh
then
damn!
I call the number like that's on that big sign that he said to ignore, and there's this dude sitting on the side, and like his phone starts ringing. He's like, "You're calling me?" It's like, well, why didn't you chime in when we were talking about the calling situation, right? So talk to him, and then oh god, I think it was like $250 later we got our cars.
Yeah,
Well, per person, because I think he
right.
said something about like the price of towing goes up and down with like the price of gas or something. He said go it's proportional with something, and I was just
So
like this. I was just
basically, it's like a $75 boot fee and then $125 tow fee, and it's like 20 something dollars for every day that it's sat on the lot. So
oh well, this was like only going to be there like in at most like I guess 2 hours because the length of the show. But
yeah,
man, I was not thrilled about it. Luckily, it was before like I spent more money on shoes and stuff. So this was just like the price of a pair of Yeezys or something after shipping and taxes. So not a huge deal. It's like, okay, well, because at the time I had very few interests, which was basically just going to shows. So that was cool. Nowadays it'd be like, oh great. Now I'm gonna miss
how,
out on
how
some.
do you feel about the ASIC Gel Light 3 model?
Oh, is there a thing over here? Well,
Free Dream.
I'll let you take that one. I have covered that so many times. What are your
Um,
let's hear you. I don't know if I've seen you do a review on one. I've done a review on every one over the last 3 months or something.
Right. I have yet to purchase a pair of Asics, so I cannot tell you my personal opinion of like fitment or styling or anything like that. But I will say, if you go check out Shoes Up Sleeves Down's many reviews, as I have, the colorways are very interesting, and it'll probably make you want to purchase your first pair.
Okay, so
My
just
problem is I buy a bunch of Jordans and other Nike shoes, and I just have to find a way to slide in a little bit of extra cash to get the Asics. We can't all be shoes up over here.
actually you just have to slide in less cash because they are significantly cheaper. I think the nicer ones top out at like 140. The average I want to
Yeah.
say is 110. Some are 120 though.
So, okay, now he wants to know how would you rank them top 5, top 10, top 15, etc. Where does the Gel Light 3 rank? I guess
Oh,
in
look,
order
I
of
think
the
I just had this
Gel Light.
conversation with him the other day. I don't know. Like I don't because there's so many factors. It's like what kind of list is it? Is it like your overall favorite? Are you looking from a certain perspective? Like because if it that depends. I mean, I would just say that it's a good one, because like that's the thing with like ranking stuff and why I try to stay away from like ranked lists because it's just like every list that I've done, it's usually one of those like easier ones where it's like, well, what are your some of your favorite Air Maxes? It's like, all right, well, they're not in order, but I'll go with these five.
Right,
Like,
right.
oh, what are your favorite blue shoes in your collection? It's like, okay, that makes that easy. I'll just pull out the 11 that I have and pick every other one or something. Let's see.
Curtis says, which shoe is more comfortable, the Nike Air Hirachi or the Ultra Boost? From my perspective, if you're talking about as far as walking, um, I would say the Ultra Boost. As far as flexibility, for me, I would say the Hirachi, depending on the Hirachi and the material. So, I mean, you can answer it all kind of ways, but
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like with those, like you said, the materials really changes things a
yeah,
lot.
yeah,
But there's a
yeah.
million types of Ultra Boost, right? I mean, I've probably had my hands on. I don't want to say all of them because I'm sure some have slipped through the cracks, but for the most part, if we go percentage wise, I've probably worn most types over the last few years.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
then, like from the ones through fours and like the SNLs and like all that crap, right? The various DNAs. And then you look at the Hirachis and it's like, okay, well, like you got the Hirachi breathes, right? Then you got the
yeah.
ultras. You got those like I don't remember what they fall under, but the London Hirachi is
Yeah,
different. Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
was it like those bright mangoes and stuff? Those are a
Right,
separate
right.
style. Like you have the runs too. I forgot about that. And
Because the
then like
Hirachis, like, they really vary in terms of like material texture, breathability, stretchability. Like
exactly.
some Hirachis are more giving than others, and then like
Yeah.
some Hirachis breathe better than others. So, and
Because like
then like the Ultra Boost, I mean, wow, there's just a wide variety of Ultra Boosts. So,
yeah,
I
because you
mean,
can't compare all of them because you need to say like when you're looking at them, and that's why like my reviews on those tend to run fairly long. Because like if I'm doing like when I did what was the last one I did? I I don't even know. We'll just say it's the 6 because that's the biggest number that comes to mind. But like that one, I had comparing them to the 1 through 4s along with the 19s and 20s and 21s and the 5.0s, like there's a little bit of something in there from each of them. So you kind of have to
right,
look at like ultimately it largely comes down to which one are you looking at? Like if you
right,
say
right.
how does and I'm not going to answer it because like it's still so subjective, but like if you say, okay, well, how does the Ultra Boost 5.0 DNA uncaged compared to the Breathe Hirachi pack? It's like, okay, that's at least like close to like an even playing field, but there's still some issues. There's still some
right. Now, like,
considered.
if you could, like, it basically you have to try to find a way to narrow it down. Something like a Vapor Max. Like, if you wanted to compare one model year versus the next model year of a Vapor Max, or maybe like one model year, well, same model but different model year of an Ultra Boost, then yeah, that would be an easier answer to give you. But to just like throw out a just wide array with the name Ultra Boost and a wide array with the name Hirachi, I'm sorry, that's a little bit, that's impossible. It's going to be based on opinion, and what works for my feet might not work for your feet. So I wouldn't want to steer you wrong, telling you that one is better than the other. So
at this point, it's just given how many are out there. It's almost like saying, so would you rather have a Jordan Retro, or would you rather have? It's like, okay, like, but there's so many models and so many formats of those things. It's like you can look at just 1s through 6s and it'll be like, man, that's yeah. They're
so
all
he's asking about,
because I know like
an Ultra Boost 20.
What about it? Again, comparing to Hirachi, it's like
I guess the model years, I guess he would have. He said, y'all going too deep with these questions. Like, you mean we're going too deep with the answers? But I mean, I mean, you can't help but to give a deep answer.
Yeah, because it's not so cut and dry. It's not like, again, saying, is this thing better than that thing? But if you want like some actual stuff behind what we're saying here, and I hate to be that guy because I get that it can be annoying, but you find one of the reviews that I've done over one of those, the one that most closely matches up with what you're looking at. So don't just look at all my Hirachi videos. Find the one that is in line with like the type of model that you're into. Watch that one, or at least like the last third of it, because that's usually where like the sizing and comfort and stuff is. So just, there's timestamps in there. So just jump to whatever part makes sense for you and watch that piece of it, because that's really like the best thing to do, because what I say about something, and I've seen this from some people in comments or whatever, what I say about something and like what I like about it, some other people will be like, yeah, that's what I don't like about it. Or I'll bring up one thing that I'm not into, and I'm like, man, that's one of the best aspects. I'm like, so, because I don't want to like lead you astray and like turn you away from something, because you might actually not feel the same way, right? I mean, I try to remind people that when I do these things, because it's like, it's all like opinions, right?
Right.
Like I can sit here and lately, since I've changed like the format just a little bit, I do try to stress that when I talk about things, it's just how I feel and not to be something to sway your thoughts. But yeah, find a review that I did that is close to what you're looking at, and they're often fairly thorough. So you should walk away with something of substance to give you an idea on if it's worth it to you or not.
What's more comfortable, a 120 thread count sheet or a 125 thread count sheet?
A cardigan sweater? I don't know.
I mean, that's how I feel that question is.
But yeah, and then sometimes it really just comes down to, like, I've met some people, and you can probably like give your own examples, where I'll say something like to me, I'll say, oh, like, I think the Prestos are really comfortable. I'll make some general statement, and someone will be like, I don't think so, man, because like these are way better. And like, yeah, because it's just what your foot is like. Like today, I was doing a review over some what was the thing I put up? I just put it up like an hour ago.
Oh,
Some 12s, some red and white 12s. And I was saying that like I wear a lot of running shoes. So when I put something like this on, my feet are not happy about it. So for me, this thing is not great. But if you tend to wear a different type of shoe on average, you might feel a different way about it. You might be a
right.
little more, your feet might be a little more accustomed to it.
Like the Air Max 270, I absolutely love that shoe. But
Right.
I know so many people who hate that shoe.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't hate it. I just don't see that appeal.
like they're like the bubble in the back is too big and it catches everything. And I'm change how you walk. I don't have
Well,
that problem.
well, don't get the
Um,
2021s then.
and I know a lot of people. All you hear is this shoe is not comfortable. But I wore this shoe on vacation, and I swear the front and the heel have some kind of air unit in it, and it was probably one of the most lower level comfort shoes that I've ever worn, and it is of course a Jordan 1. Nobody says a Jordan 1 is comfortable, but I promise you, I felt the air unit here and an air unit here as I walked, and it felt like a cushioned walk. So I don't know.
That didn't I just have a pair of ones on this week? I did. The Obsidian UNC ones. And I remember being very happy when I was able to take them off. Let's see. No, not answering the questions. Simple.
Easy Citron. What do you think of the Easy Citron? Let me see what that is, because
I the Citron.
oh, you have a pair of Citrons. The 350 V2.
Yeah. Honestly, like if it's not the
It's tan.
no, I was just gonna say like that was one of those ones that looked like a lot of the other ones that came out in that time frame. And so for that reason, to me, it's fine, but it's like not amazing, you know? But at the same time, it's like my preferred ones are, I don't know, like they're not the big favorites of a lot of people from what I've been seeing. Because, like, to me, the semi frozen yellow, that one is untouchable. That is like the one, right? Most people would not agree with that statement. But yeah, the Citron, I don't recall anything about it standing out to me as like
Um,
this is go out of your way for it. I am glad though because since it wasn't such a standout shoe, I was able to get it for under retail, which
yeah.
was good because Nike or excuse me, Adidas threw off my whole thing. Like I ordered it and they were like, "Nah, we're just not gonna send it to you." I'm like, oh,
As far as me and the Citron, I think I passed on it because it was like number 8 or 9 in a long list of tan 350s, and I had already purchased like the first 3 tan colored Yeezys. But I will say it is a really good colorway, um, and I mean it's versatile. I guess that's always good. You could put it with just about any outfit or any kind of setup. So it's not a bad shoe. I mean, you can't really mess up tan and like with that little hit of green. So I mean,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Something about that was just funny to me. Like you said, you can't really mess up tan. So,
right.
which sums up again, like, what was that, 2019? Yeah. Like the second half of the year's Yeezys, I want to say. 'Cause that's when I started doing the YouTube thing. So that's when, like, I kind of remembered a little bit about them. But yeah, that from like the landmarks and those, and then there's something else. What was it? They had I don't know. I just remember doing like a comparison video over like the Cloud Whites and like 4 or 5 other pairs. I'm like, these are
Yeah,
all the same.
yeah.
They just get like dingier depending on like how you like lay them out. And I'm just like,
Top
man,
5 personal favorite sneakers. Sheesh. I've amassed so many sneakers at this point. But if I gotta put like a top 5, what is it? My Travis Scott Jordan 1s, and I'm sorry, I hate to be cliche with it, but as much as I paid for them, they better be in my top 5 just for that simple fact. I have a pair of what are they called? And I feel so bad for not remembering because I knew all the facts on these, and I would throw it out there a million times. They're the Tinker Hatfield's brother, the shoes that he made. And you just did a review on it like last week or the week before, a pair of them.
that doesn't. So
They're
the reviews that you've seen from me over the last while were all recorded like middle of July. I've just been like staggering them out. So
oh,
I don't
geez,
know.
what is that shoe? The sock shoe, the t-shirt shoe. I'm sorry.
Oh, the Presto?
Yeah. I did a
Oh,
pair of Nike by You Prestos. Thank you. So that's another one in my top 5. I have a pair of Adidas Torsion High Artilleries.
oh.
I love those just because they're different. They're so different, and I know that they don't appeal to everybody, but they appeal to my 80s nostalgic side. So yeah, that's one. I've got a pair of Pirate Black Yeezy 350s that I like, even though I've never worn them. I just like to look at them. And I've got a pair of Nike Dunk Wettas that I really enjoy.
Is that 5?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great. Now it's on me, huh? The Dornbecker 7 because it's got a guitar.
Oh, that's a good one. I love that one too.
The Safari Presto and University Gold because it's black and yellow.
That's another good one.
Anything in Volt and black for number 3. The Air Max 360 in white, gray, and University red.
And Jordan 12s.
Any one of them, yeah. So two generic ones and then 3 specifics.
Air Force Ones. Air Force Ones are definitely a good one.
This is why I don't like Chip. No.
I burnt myself out on Air Force Ones over the years. But I did pick up the Ken Griffey Jr. Air Force Ones, the Ken Griffey Jr. Senior Air Force Ones. And unfortunately, I have to take them back because at some point during the last 15 years since I bought an Air Force One, they decided to change up the way they fit. And they fit not true to size, but a full half a size or whole size larger. So, yeah.
That's a bit of a deal breaker there. Because, I mean, I know, like, there's some stuff that, like, the fit is just a little bit off, you know?
Yeah.
But for me, it's like there are some things where it's almost as if in that moment, like, I want, like, somewhere between, like, 9 and 9.5, you know? Like,
right.
The 9.5 feels a little roomy, but the 9.5 feels a little small. So it's like, because I like things to fit a certain way, which is again why I stick with like a lot of knitted things, Prime or Fly.
Right. I bought that Air Force One that could fit 2.5 fingers behind my heel. So I was like, yeah, it's gotta go.
Yeah, see, that's not cool. And but I guess in some ways, if I know going into it, I'd rather something fit big because then I can just get like a smaller one. But if something fits small, depending on the structure of it, as you go up in size, it just starts to look bad, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Some things
yeah.
they just don't progress well as they get larger. And then I look at it and like, now I look like a clown walking around in these, you know? It's not great. It's not great. That's why maybe I'll have to pull those out at some point, see if I still feel the same. But I always bring up the Kyrie 2, I think it was.
Wow.
What it is. It's it's not a thing that I wear regularly. I mean, I guess I could say that about a lot of stuff, but model wise for sure, right? Because back then, what? Okay, no, you know what? We're gonna turn the tables. Homegrown, hit him with a couple questions. Let's hear some of his thoughts on some things. I don't have any questions in mind, but I'm sure you do.
Okay.
It's
So it
like
says, let me,
having this
so
be a one-way interrogation.
before I barrage him with a bunch of rambling questions, it says, what are y'all's top 5 sneaker models? Not colorways, but just the sneakers itself. Um, Air Max 90, Jordan 13, um, Air Max 270, because I just got done talking about how comfortable that is. I like it was some kind of Adidas that I had with it had like Boost on the heel and the Eva foam forefront foot, whatever.
Sounds like that
Um,
thing I was just talking about a month ago or something.
and let's see. And I'll throw a I don't know what the fourth one is. The fourth one is I'll leave that open ended for when I have an opportunity to grab other different varieties and models.
For the sake of ease on my end, I'm just gonna say drop the colorway names from the list that I gave out before, because no matter what I say today, it could change tomorrow.
Right.
So, because since a lot of stuff is very similar, you know what I'm saying? So I just stand by the 5 that I said before because they're all pretty good
So
and
so
like they're
free
all
dream.
something I buy regularly.
Let me ask you this, free dream. Let me ask you this. When you go looking for a shoe, what are the top 3 things you look for when you go to buy when you make your shoe purchase?
And while we wait, so I was watching Life of a Broski the other day, right? Since we're on the subject of shoes now, and he was putting up his what do you call it? His top 10 kids shoes or something like I don't know. I think it was like a back to school video or something.
Yeah.
The way you asked that question just kind of made me think about that, you know, because he was like, "Yeah, look at this and this and this." Well, okay, it makes sense. So, because I was looking at it, I'm like, yeah, for me, I would go by like for one, first off, the price because you know, like it's kids, so you don't want to spend a lot on something that they're just, you know, they're gonna be running around, jumping in puddles and doing all
Right.
kinds of stuff. So I'm looking for something cheap, right? Whether it's retail or just something that's just always on sale, something cheap. And then you want to find the fine line between that and durability, right?
Right. Right.
And then after that, you know, I mean, everything else just comes after that. Because if it's a child running around through the forest, I kind of feel like he's not really concerned about like the comfort and how cool it looks or whatever. Just kind of trying to not be barefoot, hopefully. I mean, I feel like if I had a child, if they were anything like me, they would be very much anti barefoot.
He says he looks at the shape, focal point, and color/design.
Well, There you go.
Yeah, that works. That works for me. Let me think about this. Okay, so if I think about it two ways, for a kid and for myself, because I do a lot of toddler reviews, and sometimes I'll pick up a GS pair every now and then. So if I look at a kid's shoe, for the most part, to be honest with you, whatever they're happy with, not necessarily a toddler, because a toddler will grab anything and toss it across the room, but for like a kid in general, whatever they're happy with, I mean, I'm okay as long as it doesn't look too ridiculous to me, and it's versatile and it's not too expensive. But if I personally find it appealing that they pick up, I won't necessarily look at the cost, because kids need shoes. Kids need shoes. I'm not a believer in grabbing a kid's shoe from Walmart. I would prefer them have, if I'm going to spend the type of money I spend on shoes, I would prefer to give them the same courtesy. So that's what I look for. Kid shoes. As far as myself, first thing I pay attention to is it visually appealing to me? Because if it's not visually appealing to me, I don't care what the price is. It could be $5,000, and of course I'm not paying that, or it could be $15. If it's not visually appealing, I'd rather take that $15 and go to Wendy's or something like that.
Yeah.
Then the next thing I'll look for is price tags, of course. Prices, because I might see something that I like, but if I don't really like it, or if I'm not confident in it, I just won't spend the money. No matter how cheap it is. And then the last thing I look for is comfort, because I wear Jordans, for peace sake. Like, Jordans are not known at the top tier of comfort, so I can't really say I'm a sneaker comfort snob. So yeah, there you go.
That's fair. Going back to one thing that you said earlier, right? You were talking about how children need shoes. So I'm going to take that moment to kind of plug Sneaker Hearts real quick. Since if you happen to have some shoes you don't need, or don't mind making a little bit of a donation, go ahead and head on over to sneakerhearts.com. They are located out of Chicago, Illinois, and they help make sure that the kids that are playing sports, or just kids in general in that general area, get the shoes that they need so that they can run around and not be barefoot. Also, when situations allow, they do work with some of the other countries and whatnot to kind of get some stuff over there too. But primarily, they just kind of handle right around in there. So again, if you got some old shoes, you can send them on over to them, or you can send them a little donation, or just buy a shirt once in a while, whatever fits your financial situation. And if none of that fits your financial situation and you've just got some free time, head on over to like the Instagram or something, maybe just kind of share a picture or something, just kind of help get the word out.
I'm going to check that out
on that.
I definitely need to head over to the Instagram and spread the word. And I do believe I have some kid shoes that are in really good condition that I can donate. It's just the deal of prying them away from their hands. So, yeah, I'm going to have to check that out. I did not know that donating portion.
Yeah, because that's what, because I know like out there, like it's easier for them to get the donations within the city because they put those boxes out, or people always bring them in, or especially like I forget the guy's name, starts with an R, but he's one of the doctors in the hospital, because they all work in a hospital, and he seems to get a lot of shoes from somewhere that he's just always bringing in. So however you are able to do that, I'm sure they'd appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And who knows? It'll be a good way to get rid of some of those things, make room for some newer things, which is something that I've toyed with the idea of doing myself, because as you probably know, every shoe that has been reviewed on this channel, unless I have specifically said it's not for me, is still here in my possession. It might be at my mom's house or whatever, but it's still mine. So after a certain point, that number gets to be fairly high. And so I can only give so many to my brother because otherwise he'll fall into the same situation. So it's like, should I get rid of some of these? I don't know. I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time,
It's weird how you kind of build an attachment to them.
Because that's the thing. It's like, I mean, you hesitate to call it necessarily like an attachment, but there are certain things that for me, sometimes it is like the piece of it where there's a memories attached to it, right?
Right.
Like, oh, this is the time when I went through all this crap to get these things. So that's kind of cool. Or certain things are just cool in their own right. But then you have just like some of these random outlet purchases that don't really mean a whole lot, but I like them, So it's like that I could probably do without, especially given how many things I try to work into my rotation, So I'm always posting these little videos every day. Well, I record videos every day, but I don't post them until it's weeks later and I've forgotten for a long time and just throw a bunch out all at once.
That's what I did. That's what I did this last week, throughout a bunch of old videos that I did, and I've got more coming. But it says, are you going to review the Zoom Freak 3? As far as me, my pockets don't go that deep. And that is not a shoe that I'm particularly interested in. I took a look at it. I will say it's not a bad shoe, but again, I don't buy shoes and review them unless I know I'm going to enjoy doing it. And right now, I don't have the pockets to just splurge on stuff like that.
And then for me, I could look that up, but I don't even know what that is. I'll be honest with you. So I might have this little channel thing going on or whatever, which kind of presents me in a certain light. But let me correct something for anyone who's out there and isn't quite sure. I'm not a big like sneakerhead guy. I just like to be comfortable. And I buy more shoes than the average person because I can, right? It's just that simple. I'm not trying to sound like I've got money just falling from the ceiling over here. I just don't have a lot of other interests because the world was kind of shut down. So I bought more shoes. So I'm not into things like that. I just have the mentality of a casual buyer, which is why the channel looks the way it looks, a lot of cheap crap. So that, whatever that is, no, because like I don't follow new releases. If Adidas tells me something personally, they're like, hey, check out this Ultra Boost Uncaged, whatever. It's like, okay, I like them. They know I like those. So that's a purchase that happened this morning or yesterday morning, I think. So eventually a review will be coming on another Ultra Boost Uncaged. But
it is incredible how many pairs of Adidas you hit on from that little weekly drop.
I buy a lot of the stuff I buy from them is just sitting there and just on sale, I don't pay full price for mostly anything unless it's like, if it's a big release, like Yeezy type release or something, there's those, and I guess the Uncaged I was just talking about, but otherwise like $180, $200, that's a tough pill to swallow, especially if you're trying to buy a lot of things, which I do. So I can't do that. Otherwise I'd have fewer reviews, which I guess doesn't say a lot because I'd put up a fair amount of them. But I think you know what I mean when I say that. Like, I got to cut the corners where I can, because at the end of the day, as you said, also, I'm not buying something just for a review. I might buy something a little earlier than I expected, and in the hopes that, as it often is, if it's something relatively relevant, people will say, okay, well, I'm going to go watch this enough times and then I'll make like an extra $30 on it, which kind of balances out the cost of it. Right.
Right.
But ultimately I can't buy stuff that I'm not into. I did it once just to, just to kind of give my own personal thoughts and see if something was better than I thought it was. It wasn't. But yeah, so the Zoom Freak 3, not to get off on like the tangents and stuff, but I don't know what that is. If it's a running shoe, which it sounds like it's not, it would possibly pop up on my radar. Is it a running shoe?
It's like a basketball shoe, but
Yeah, that's not happening.
it's got like
You lost me already. It's
you got like the Pegasus midsole, so it, y'all letting guests on. Absolutely. Hit the link.
absolutely not actually, because the thing is, and I was going to say this before, but we got onto a tangent. I need to get out of here soon so I can start wrapping up my editing for some review that's going out at some point this week. Because again, I did the 3 and just need to get that 4th one knocked out. And I still want to watch some Rick and Morty because that comes on like half an hour. But normally that's why that link is there at the top and it's pinned so people can click it and then join. That's how that goes. Generally, it's open to pretty much anybody, which has backfired a few times, not going to lie. But, it's the internet. You open your door to anybody can walk through, including yourself. But anyways, so probably in the next 10-ish minutes, I'm going to dwindle this down and move on.
So with that being said, stay tuned for the next live and feel free, as always, to hit the link. Yeah. I would like to ask anybody in the chat, though, what was your last pickup? Why? And what are you looking forward to coming out next that you're hoping to get your hands on?
And my question, if you choose to answer it, what do you do when you're not talking about shoe things? What are your other interests? Because that's the thing that matters to me.
That's good.
But anyways, so again, I got some videos. I just noticed that there's some, just doing like looking at the tracking numbers and stuff, I might have to accelerate my drop rate for the videos this month. I mean, for this week, because last week I was just kind of like, I'd put a video out each day. This one though, because I have 3 more here in the apartment, right? It's like a Hirachi, a trail shoe, and I think there's something else over there. Oh, there's some Air Max Pluses somewhere around here. So I got to do those 3, but then I also have some kind of Air Max 90 or something coming in. So I got to get all this crap done because the month is running out and I don't want to go into the next month with stuff still from this month. I don't want to create another July situation.
Right. Now you're a master of organization, but I know that has to be chaos because I am in the same situation you were in. I've got so many piled up from previous months that I still need to put a video out, do some editing and things like that. And I'm also still trying to put out newer drops. And it is just hell on a computer screen right now. Hell on a SD card and computer screen.
And that's like what's helped me has been that I haven't needed to get anything out there quickly because none of it matters. You know what I mean? It's like NMDs or what's that thing? An Adazero Pro. It's just stuff that some people will watch at some point. Usually, honestly, nothing against them, but I do get on some of those minor things. I get a lot of people that seem like they're from like the third world countries, or I don't even know if that's like the right term for it, but from other places outside of the States, because things are here for a while and eventually they get over there and then they watch them. So this stuff that I'm reviewing, those reviews I did over the last 2 weeks, none of that matters, right? The nice, even like those nice Kicks Ultra Boosts, like it's not a thing people are looking at. I think a lot of people don't even know that they exist, which is fine. It helps me because then I don't feel like I need to get stuff out there quickly. The only time is like now when I know that I've got 3 here and probably I feel like I bought some random Adidas shoe because it kind of reminds me of the Aniki Runner. So that'll be here at some point. Bought those Uncaged this morning. So I just need to make sure that my slate is clean for when these things start rolling in. And luckily, not everything is for me because I did get the parents a couple pairs. So, but I still want to do, implement that into like the reviews and stuff. So I mean, they won't be in the videos. My dad was in one a couple years ago, like 2 years ago, I think.
Yep,
So,
I remember that birthday.
but no, this was this was just because it was an orange pair of Ultra Boost 19s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was a different video than you're thinking of. But either way, yeah, it's to wrap things up real quick.
Before, yeah, I was gonna say before we get into a long tangent, because I know you got to go, and I'm about to head out as well. But I just wanted to show off the nerdy stuff, because I just got so excited that I found them on my birthday trip. It was the best birthday week ever.
Oh, well, happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you. But I picked up these. And these, I normally don't buy He-Man figures. I've never been like a real huge He-Man figure type of person. But these are of such good quality, in my opinion, that they just had to be picked up. And then they're a really good price. I really enjoyed the few episodes that they had on Netflix. And like the box art is really nice as well. I'm just missing one so far, and then this is what really blew my mind. This thing right here is huge.
Did you need the which one are you missing?
I'm missing Evil Lynn.
Oh, like I think there might be some still at the Target up in Newport News. So if you're still interested, just let me know and I'll see. You know what I'm saying?
So if you see Evil Lynn, just let me know. I've got a coupon code for $5 off as well, and then they gave me a birthday coupon as well. So I've got like a total of like $10 off. So yeah, but they've got interchangeable hands and apparently 30 points of articulation. Yeah. And I'm kind of itching to open them, but
I did see, because I saw those recently, and I saw the Evil Lynn. There might still be some, like I said, I'll have to go and check tomorrow or something. But I saw the He-Man first, and I thought it was fine, but not amazing. So that kind of set my mind in a certain place. But then looking at the Moss Man and that God Skeletor, or whatever they called it, I was like, oh, the
Skele God,
yeah, they definitely stepped those up. So those, but I'm not gonna do it because I went all in on the last two waves, last two brands of He-Man releases.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like those.
So I'm good on that. But for now, we'll close with the action figures because I think that's a good place to leave off. I'll leave my rants for another video or something. So to anybody who is out there who came through for a few minutes or for a bunch of minutes, whatever the case is, I do appreciate that. And from me to you, please have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I don't know what the time zones are looking like for everybody out there. I don't know where people are, but I put that out there because, hey, people are all across the world watching this. Well, could be.
Right.
Or maybe just whenever they will catch the replay. Either way, enough out of me. Homegrown Kicks, would you like to tell people where they can find you real quick so we can wrap things up?
Okay, so I will say this. I see that there are some questions that were unanswered. Save your questions for next time. I can't control when the next time Shoes Up is going live. You just have
to control the next time he goes live. Just gonna put that out.
Exactly. But if you want to join Shoes Up, you just have to turn on those post notifications and stay tuned. I guarantee you, you will always hear something interesting, or you will always see something interesting, whether it's the battles, just the live conversations, or just great reviews. So turn on those notifications. As far as me, I am Homegrown Kicks, HG for short. You can head over to my YouTube channel and check me out. I try to do a little something different every now and then, but like I said, I buy what I like. So it might not appeal to you. It might appeal to you. But hey, all I can say is give it a chance. You can also find me on IG. I try to be consistent on there as much as possible, but you know how that goes when you have a full-time job. I'm also on Twitter, and I do Facebook from time to time. So yeah, if you want to give me a look-see, head on over to my YouTube channel. hopefully you will join the family, and I look to see you there.
So there, make that easy for you so I don't have an excuse not to go check him out. But there we go. I appreciate that. I've already wrapped up things for me. Again, I'm going to discredit everything he said. My channel is fine. If you subscribe, not, it doesn't matter. The videos are still watchable. If you turn on those notifications, you might just get a little bit bothered by that over the next few days. We'll see how things go. So that's just a little bit of a warning to anybody out there. I feel like it's important to be clear with the people. Anywho, we're good here, right? So thanks again, people.
Luke.
And later.
Have a great work week, everybody.